everybody, welcome to Steelers Live. It is Coordinator Thursday. We also have your Steelers Nation Unite keyword, and Tunch has our Sirius XM scouting report. But today we will start with the Steelers practice report for Thursday, going over a long list here of guys not practicing, limited participants, and full as well. Not practicing for the second day this week, as everybody you see on your list: Marcus Gilbert, Morgan Burnett, and B.J. Finney. Full participants, some good news here. Stephon Tuitt was limited yesterday, full participant today. Vance McDonald did not practice yesterday. He was a full go, and Xavier Grimble 2 full days in a row. Bud Dupree making some progress, not as much as Vance McDonald. He did not practice on Wednesday, and today he was limited. Joining me now to break it all down is Bob Labriola. So, Labs, do you want to talk good news or bad news? Bad news. Go ahead, take it away.
You know, this is a game against the Los Angeles Chargers. I almost said San Diego, and Phillip Rivers. And so looking at, you know, that practice report and how it might project in terms of an injury situation for Sunday night's game, you know, Morgan Burnett is somewhat of a key component in some of those sub packages. And, you know, how that trickles down. You know, Artie Burns is a guy who has not been playing defense now for several weeks in a row. So you remove him from the equation. If Morgan Burnett continues on this path and is unable to play, you know, that's 2 guys in the defensive backfield. It does look a little bit better for Stephon Tuitt, but then also the Bud Dupree situation, you know, a pectoral. You know, I would think that that would have a lot to do with his ability to use his hands, grab and throw pass blockers, excuse me, in pass rushing. And so, you know, the Steelers are thin at outside linebacker in numbers as it is, only carrying 3 on the 53-man roster. You know, if you got to get after Phillip Rivers, and you got to be able to cover. And the Steelers look to be, at this point, possibly going to be missing a couple of components that have been on the field for them regularly the past month or so on defense.
All right, we'll have to stay tuned. The status report will be out on Friday. As I said, it is Coordinator Thursday, and up first we have Offensive Coordinator Randy Fichtner talking about evaluating final drives like the one that happened in Denver.
You know, we came up too many times short the other night, you know, whether it was a turnover, whether it was execution on a 3rd down, execution on a red zone goal line play. So we're always constantly churning that, you know, and trying to figure out what's the best and what our guys can do the best. That's from quarterback down to everybody.
Do you second guess yourself, or do you just look at what happened?
We look at what happened and then determine, is that something you want to continue? You think that there's growth that could be done in it, and is there value in it, or, you know, maybe it's just not a good concept, or maybe not something that maybe we can execute well enough, or maybe there's a better situation in time, you know. But we kind of self-evaluate a lot. You know, get a quick turnaround to do that, but that's part of that process.
And Lab's self-evaluation for the team and the coaches, obviously the outside is going to evaluate it as well. It could have been like Jacksonville, but it wasn't such a stark difference.
Right. I mean, that was the, you know, the Jerry Glanville line, NFL stands for not for long. And, you know, after the Jacksonville game, Randy Fichtner was a genius. I mean, absolutely. Talking about what a great improvement the Steelers have had in their red zone touchdown percentage. You have that final drive that ends with Ben scoring a touchdown with 5 seconds left. Fast forward 1 week later to Denver, and he's a bum. And so, I mean, that's, you know, I've always thought that even somewhat more than the head coach, the offensive coordinator is the one guy, the one job on every team that most fans at the game believe they can do better than he is doing. So, you know, yes, and there were some things that, you know, didn't work. A lot of focus is put on this play here, the final play of the game, or the Steelers' final offensive play of the game. I think Ben has had a point when he mentioned that Antonio Brown should have flattened the route off more, similar to the way he ran it against the Baltimore Ravens on Christmas Day a couple of years ago. That didn't happen. But again, if Xavier Grimble doesn't fumble at the goal line, you know, and that wasn't either a bad play call, you know, or poor execution by anybody but one individual, we're not talking about this. James Conner fumbles the ball by carrying it out away from his body. These are things that lead up, that put the Steelers in the situation that they were in at the end of the game to have to make that call and execute that call down at the goal line. So, again, there's a lot of moving parts to this. It's something that they have to do, the self-evaluation. But I mean, I don't know. It depends on how you want to focus your attention or assign blame. If you're one of those people who believes that, it's all about the scheme, it's a chess match, those kind of things, you may want to point to the play call as the be-all, end-all. If you're someone who believes that, it's much more of a situation where it's like a symphony orchestra where the conductor gets all the musicians started and then they just kind of go and do their thing, then, you kind of have to wish that the AB would have flattened the route out, Xavier Grimble wouldn't have fumbled at the 1-yard line. So it's a process that goes on every week, and in every NFL city, I don't really pay that much attention to it.
All right, time to talk about the Steelers defense, and Tunch will be on hand in a little bit to talk about the Chargers. No Melvin Gordon for them, but still today defensive coordinator Keith Butler was asked about the Steelers' run defense.
An old linebacker's daggum concern, I can tell you that right now. I don't like to see people run the ball as much as they run the ball on us, but sometimes you play defenses to take away what they do best, as opposed to try to stop the run all the time. You might be in a situation where you're trying to limit the passes downfield and play action, and when they max, what we call max protect. So when they're doing that and they're trying to go get chunks on you, you got to try to keep the chunks off of you as much as you can.
And Labs, one thing that should help, we talked about a little bit during the practice report, is the return of Stephon Tuitt. They've been without him the past 2 games.
Yeah, Missy, and one of the things I'm sure Keith Butler has been talking to the defense about, in addition to when you look at the bottom line on the stat sheet and see how many yards the opponent has rushed for, I thought especially in the game against the Broncos, there were too many chunk rushing plays. There's 2 ways that a run defense can be hurt. There's this way, and then there's also the slow drip, drip, drip of the faucet on your forehead that just slowly drives you insane. This was more of a chunk situation, and I think that if this were to happen on Sunday night with a quarterback like Phillip Rivers, that's a certain recipe for disaster, because you may be able to make some plays against a guy like Case Keenum, either to get off the field or take the ball away. Against Phillip Rivers, I don't think those opportunities are going to be very many. So shutting off the run to a large degree, I think, is going to be extremely important for the Steelers on Sunday night, maybe more important than it was even last week.
All right, Labs, thanks so much for joining me today. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, Tunch has your Sirius XM scouting report. All right, up now we have a test for Tunch to see how many times he can say the LA Chargers, now the San Diego Chargers. He is here with our Sirius XM scouting report.
Missi, for 14 years when I played the Chargers, every time we went over there, every time they scored, we heard that song, San Diego Superchargers. I got so sick of it, but San Diego is in my head. I want the Chargers to go back to San Diego. I don't like them in LA. I know they started out in LA back in the 60s, but so I'm just going to call them the Chargers. But when you look at the Chargers offense, the guy that jumps out at you is Phillip Rivers, and I can't wait to see Sunday night. This is going to be like gunfight at the OK Corral. 2 old gunslingers in Phillip Rivers and Ben, and it is going to be fun. When you watch Phillip Rivers, he does he is so accurate, and when you watch him on a shotgun, the ball comes out there really quick. He is on rhythm. You see it right there. There's a lot of crossing routes, a lot of check downs, a lot of quick out cuts. And one of the things that you really admire about Phillip Rivers, he sees the field well. He does a great job in finding the open receiver in his route combinations. He does a great job of knowing where to throw based on what he sees in coverages. He does a great job of carrying out his fakes. Like that time you saw him, he looked right, and then he threw the screen back to the left. And he just does a great job. You know, when he's in shotgun, the ball is coming out quick, and the ball is going short. When you see him under center, that's when he throws more play-action passes. When he throws more play-action passes, he's going down the field a little bit more. But whether he's throwing short or whether he's throwing long, he's got a great touch. And he's got these receivers, Missi, they are huge. Starting with Keenan Allen, he's 6'2", 215. You know, he's a great route runner. He's got great hands. He does a great job, to quote Mike Tomlin, in combat situations. He's going to go up and get the ball, and he's really, really good after the catch. Then you look at Terrell Williams. He's a big, strong possession receiver. He's 6'4", and he is another big guy. And then you got Mike Williams. He's big, he's fast, he's a 4-5 guy. He does a great job. You know, sometimes, as my old head coach Chuck Noll used to say, there is track speed and there is competitive speed. This group of receivers may not have the fastest 40 times, but they are fast on the field. They have competitive speed. They do a great job of getting open. And the one guy that is a burner, that is a track guy, is Travis Benjamin. He's the only guy that's under 6 foot that's a receiver with the LA Chargers. And he's the one that they like to throw downfield. We remember him from the Cleveland Browns. The only thing is he didn't have a good quarterback with the Cleveland Browns. Now he's got a great quarterback, and they like to throw the deep routes to Travis Benjamin. And guess what? Antonio Gates is back. Look at big old number 85. He's about 270. It looked like he was going into retirement. Then one of their tight ends went on IR, so they brought him back. And you know what? He doesn't run the same crisp routes that he used to, but what he does a great job of is posting up. Remember, he played college basketball at Kent State, does a great job of posting up, gets his body between the defender and the ball. He's still good at that. He's very, very crafty, and so I'm interested to see what that looks like. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, they've got a pretty good, oh, by the way, the running back, Austin Eckler. One thing that's really good, we're very happy, is that Melvin Gordon is hurt, because he is a great running back. Austin Eckler has been the third down back. He's a compact guy. He has a little shake to him. He's physical. He's tough. He plays with a low pad level, and he's a little guy, so sometimes he's hard to bring down. Let's switch over to the defensive side of the ball, because when you look at their pass rush, you know, Joey Bosa has been hurt, but he's back, and he is a pretty good pass rusher. I think the best pass rusher, though, is Melvin Ingram. Melvin Ingram, they use him inside. He's number 54. Sometimes they'll play him outside. He does a great job of getting a quick start on the ball. He's got a great spin move to the inside. And what he'll do is he'll give you the old okey doke. He'll come off kind of a little slow, and then he'll explode on the edge. He's got the speed to get the edge on you. He's good with his hands. And like I said, they move him around. Great inside move there to get the tackle. He is very, very, very elusive. On the other side, we're going to see Joey Bosa. He's more of a physical pass rusher. He does a great job with his hands. He can bull rush you. He's physical, but he's a little bit more of a plotter. If you look at Ingram, he's more explosive. Joey Bosa is more of a plotter, a bull rush guy, but he does. These guys do a good job. And then Isaac Roselle, he's the backup, and he's number 98. He's got 4.5 sacks, does a great job using his hands. He's very, very physical, and one of the things you like about him is he's got a great motor. He's always working his way to the quarterback, and he gets a lot of sacks based on effort, as Joey Bosa does. You look at their defensive backfield, and that's when you get impressed. They've got a safety named Derwin James. This guy is fast. He is physical. He's 6'3", 215 pounds. In my day, that was big enough to play linebacker. Now, he's terrific in coverage. He's got a great feel of the game. He can play man coverage. He can play center field as the free safety. They put him inside the box a lot because he's got a great feel for the game, whether he's got to set the edge in a blitz on the play side or whether he's going to make a play from the backside. He's got the speed to run guys down. He can be a run and chase guy. He can be a thumper. He can be a center fielder. He can be a man coverage guy. He is the total package. He might be the best safety I've seen in a very, very long time. Corner Casey Hayward, he's their Pro Bowler. He's very heady. He's got great hands. He's terrific in coverage. He's not a bump and run guy. He's more of an off coverage guy, but he does a great job. Those kind of guys that have a great feel for the game, they've got one eye on the quarterback, one eye on the receiver, and this guy does a great job of that.
All right, Tunch, thanks so much for your Sirius XM scouting report of the LA Chargers there. I passed the test too. For our Steelers Nation Unite members, the keyword today is AFC, so you can head to SteelersNationUnite.com and enter the keyword AFC to earn your extra yards for joining us today here on Steelers Live. For Labs and Tunch, I'm Missy. Thanks so much for joining us today. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 4 p.m. Have a great night.